Hello everyone, it's Thomas with the NYC Project. Today I'm here with Jennifer Rodriguez, an attorney who is licensed in the state of Connecticut. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about religious law, religious courts, and the United States court system. And I have a few questions I'm going to ask Jennifer, and hopefully this will give you guys some information about the differences between religious courts and the United States court system. So Jennifer, welcome. Thank you for joining me today and helping us understand what the difference is, if there are differences, and kind of give everyone an idea of what their rights are as United States citizens.
Okay, glad to be here.
Thank you. So we'll just start right off the bat. There are things in America called religious courts, and I was wondering if you can tell us a little bit about the difference between religious courts and the United States court system.
In the United States, everyone knows the Constitution, and there are amendments to the Constitution. The First Amendment provides for separation of church and state. So while there may be organizations within the religious body that calls itself a court, it does not have legal bearing in the United States court system. In order for an order or some sort of enforcement to have legal authority, you have to go through the U.S. court system.
Okay. Now, what about religious arbitrations or contracts? I know a lot of people sign these, and sometimes they don't understand really what they're signing. They're not knowledgeable about what they're signing, and they feel once they sign this that they can't get out of it. Is this a legal and binding thing, or no?
Well, each state's law is different. So the first thing I would say is go to an attorney outside your religious-based community. There are a lot of legal aid organizations throughout the country that provide no-cost or low-cost legal advice. So if you've already signed a document and you're not sure what the legal authority is for it, whether you're going to be bound by that arbitration agreement or contract, you need to go talk to an attorney who has experience in that specific matter, probably a family law attorney.
Do you think it matters that they're outside of the religious community?
The attorneys that you should go speak to, I think it's very important to go speak to somebody who's outside the religious community. You're not sure what a person's bias might be if they are someone who's within the religious community, if they feel that they have to follow a particular agreement because they know the religious entity that helps construct it. So you want to get somebody who's outside of that to tell you what the legal ramifications are.
And do you think they'll understand what's trying to be, the information that's trying to be delivered? Do you think they're going to understand what somebody means by a religious mediation or contract? They have enough knowledge of the law to understand, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. They'll be able to look at a document, talk to you about what's in it, explain to you what's written in it, and explain to you what the legal ramifications of that are. You may have signed something that you think is a document that's a contract or an arbitration agreement that you might be able to bring to a U.S. court, and the U.S. court might not give it any authority, might not give it any validity. It might just throw the whole thing out.
Okay. Especially because there's the separation of church and state. So some of this might be based fully off of a religious component that's not enforceable in our court systems. I'm just thinking maybe.
Yeah, but it'll be important to bring it to an attorney who can go over that with you.
Okay. And so is it okay to say that it's possible that the contract could be voided, or at least if it is enforceable, there is an opportunity to have the case heard in the courts to get out of something, especially if you're coerced into signing something?
Absolutely. If you were not voluntarily signing the agreement, if you were either lied to about what was in the agreement, or if you were forced because someone was threatening you or threatening your family, then that's definitely something that the court should be aware of, and they can take that into account in deciding whether or not they would give that document any legal effect.
Okay. And I know this isn't on our list of things that we have scheduled to talk about, but is there an age requirement to sign some kind of document, do you know, or is it maybe state specific, or it maybe depends on the circumstances?
I think in general the legal age of majority is 18. I think that might vary from state to state. If you signed a document while you're under 17, I think then it might depend on the different, or 17 or younger, it might depend on the circumstances and what it is that you're signing.
Okay. The next thing that I've been hearing about in the field is something called, well, they're called police officers, but they exist in the religious community. They don't have the legal authority to be practicing policing, and I was wondering, do these the religious people who appoint these police officers to police the community without legal authority, are they capable of handling legal situations? For an example, if I was a victim of domestic violence and I went to this police officer that's in my community, but not through the state or the government, is he able to arrest anyone? Is he able to protect me or my children?
I'm not sure what authority they would have to do that. In order to arrest someone or to provide legal protection to someone, I think they would have to be authorized by the state government. So either through the state government police, state police, or through city or local police departments. You want to go to an organization or police department that is run by the government, not by the religious organization.
Okay. So the community and the religious leaders can't vote somebody to be in this police unit. It's done through the state or government.
Right. The government hires and has its own requirements in order to hire someone to be a member of the police department.
Okay. So it's best to dial 911 in case of an emergency.
Absolutely.
Or to go to your local police station.
Yes.
Outside of your immediate community.
That's correct.
Okay, good. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about domestic violence. Now, just to make sure we're on the same page, domestic violence is hitting, punching, threatening, and mistreating your spouse or anyone in your family. And I was wondering, is domestic violence illegal in the United States, even if it's threatening, or even if it's not physical? If there's some kind of threat component, is it illegal and punishable by law?
It is, and you are eligible to go to the court system and to get a protective order. That will keep the person from bothering you, whether it's physical, actual physical harm that you're coming to, or if the person is threatening you. You have the right to be safe in your own home, and you should go to the police. You should either dial 911 if this is a problem, or go down to the police station. If the police don't feel that you are in immediate physical harm, they may send you to the court system to file the necessary paperwork to get a protective order to keep someone from harassing you or threatening you.
Okay. Also, there is a national domestic violence hotline that you can dial if you are in need of a shelter. That number is 1-800-799-SAFE or 1-800-799-7233. 633. And they can recommend shelters in your area that you're able to go to if you need to have a safe place to stay until you are able to file the protective order. And I'll post that on our Facebook, and I'll tweet it out to everyone too. And also, Jennifer, there is a lot of questions right now in certain communities about whether or not it's illegal for one parent to withhold the child from the other parent. Also, this is like a three-part question, so if you want me to take it one at a time, or we could just repeat it too. But is it illegal to withhold a child from one parent? And or is it illegal to threaten to send the child to another country or remove that child from, your care without any kind of court orders? And also, if they actually sent that child to another country without your permission, is this allowed, or what can somebody do who finds themselves in this circumstance?
Again, the first thing I'm going to recommend is that you go to see an attorney who is not in your religious community, but in your area. And again, the legal aid societies are all out there to help you. If you believe that your child is in imminent danger, you should call 911 and talk to the police about what's going on. Every state has different rules about child custody. In Connecticut, for example, until there is a court order, the child is considered to be in the joint custody of both parents. So if one parent took the child without informing the other parent, it would not be considered parental kidnapping because there has been no order to say that that parent cannot take the child. However, another person taking the child outside of the jurisdiction could be considered kidnapping, that being another family member or just somebody else in the community taking the child outside of the jurisdiction, that could be considered kidnapping. But you need to go to the police or to an attorney who deals with this kind of issue specifically in your state, because each state's law is different on this issue.
Okay. And then if you think your child could be in danger of either being sent to another country with somebody who's not a parental figure, or if you feel like your child could be in danger, what would be the right thing to do?
You should call 911.
Okay.
The police will be able to tell you whether they can come in and intervene or not.
Okay. So 911, call 911.
Yes.
Okay. The last question that I have for you today, Jennifer, is in some communities there is something that's like a religious family services. So it would be like an equivalent to the state's child welfare services. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if you can tell me if they have the same legal authority to remove children from the home. I know that they could offer counseling, and they probably have like a lot of great services that are usable within the community, but actually finding a person unfit and removing the child from the home, do they have that legal authority?
To my knowledge, they do not. That would be something that would be left up to the state to decide if someone has relinquished their parental rights, or whether the parental rights should be terminated either permanently, or they should be suspended for a period of time while the child's welfare is being decided. So to my knowledge, a religious organization without the authority of the state could not take a child away.
Okay. And by saying the authority of the state, that would be like court order. Like, you would absolutely be aware of what is happening. You would have some kind of court order for paperwork. There would probably even be city police with with the member, I would think.
That's correct. To my understanding, the police may be involved with the state social worker that would come in, and they would explain to you, we're taking your child away. They would explain why, and they would let you know when you were going to be having a court date on that issue.
Okay. And I know I said that was going to be the last question, but I just remember something that I really wanted to run by you. I have heard from some people in the community about being notified of a court date via the telephone. Isn't it customary to be either notified of a court date through serving of a state marshal or some kind of actual serving process, but not a telephone call?
I imagine every state is different, but I have never heard of you being called into court by a phone call.
Okay.
If you are physically arrested, you would get hand service of the notice of when you need to come into court. If your case is ongoing, you would get either the notice when you're at court of your next court hearing, or they would mail you the hearing. I personally have never heard of courts calling people to let them know when they need to show up to court.
Okay. I didn't either, but I thought, maybe I should run that by you. I think that concludes all of our questions today. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us and giving us some idea of what our rights are and what we need to do in case of certain circumstances. And I wanted to let everyone know that we're going to be doing a second web series that talks about what to do if you follow all of these suggestions and the things don't happen as they should. So I also would like to invite everyone to feel free to send an email to me with either personal experiences, or if you have specific questions. For an example would be, what if you go to the police station and you try to get help, but they don't help you? Like, what do you do? What's the recourse? So I will post on the Facebook when that's going to be coming, but that's the next web series that we're going to do, and my email is lthomas@milaproject.org. If you have any questions from this webcast, if you have any questions for Jennifer, feel free to email me as well. Again, it's lthomas@milaproject.org. It's also on our Facebook and our website, so please feel free, if you have any questions or comments, reach out to us. We're here to help you. And remember, if you are in need of services, please just send us an email. We're more than happy to talk to you about what kind of services are available to you and what your rights are. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. It was a privilege for us to get this information out to you guys, and I look forward to doing the next webcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.